Right, here we go on our chemical changes knowledge test. Okay, you're doing a little bubble around the outside of it. Right, so this is what we've got to know for the chemical changes section. So write out the symbols for the reactivity series in order. So what I've got here is I've got please stop calling me a careless zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. All right, so please is potassium. S is sodium, which is Na. C, calcium. Me, magnesium. A, aluminium. Careless, carbon. Zn, zebra. Instead is iron. Try is Sn, tin. Learning is lead, Pb. H is hydrogen. Copper is obviously copper. Silver is Ag, and gold is Au. Okay, so we just need to go through those and we need to learn them. What are the following? Alkali, base, acid, and neutral. All right, so what I'm going to do is an alkali first is something called a soluble base. Okay, and what that does is it creates OH minus ions. Right, but the key to it is the fact that it's soluble. A base is basically what it does is it neutralizes acids. Okay, and its kind of main job is the fact that it absorbs H plus ions. Okay, so that's a base. And bases include alkalis. Okay, so alkalis produce OH minus ions, which then combine with H plus ions to make water. A base, what that does, it neutralizes acids, but they don't necessarily have to be an alkali. An acid neutralizes bases. Okay, and so the way that it does that is it releases H plus ions. And the last one, we're doing gold, right? Neutral, that is then when you have an equal number of H plus and OH minus. And the best example of that is H2O, which is obviously water. Question number 3, what is a strong acid? A strong acid is where it is completely ionized, right? That is then in an aqueous, can't spell it, aqueous solution. Okay, so what it does, it goes into water and it completely ionizes, right? Best examples of that are hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, and sulfuric acid. Okay, they are the strongest acids. What is a weak acid? A weak acid is one that partially ionizes. Okay, and again, it's in an aqueous solution. Okay, and good examples of that are things like ethanoic acid and citric acid. So ethanoic acid is vinegar, citric acid is then like lemon juice. Question number 4, what is neutralization? Right, do you like this artistic effect here, right? The kind of red line underneath here. I think that's because the computer wanted me to put a Z there, right? But I'm not going to. Okay, so what we've then got is what is neutralization? Neutralization is where you have an acid plus a base react to form water and a salt. Okay, so what's happening with the water is we're combining the H plus and the OH minus, and then we make a salt. Question number 6, what salt does hydrochloric acid make? So this is then kind of the thing that's then made at the end. So it could be sodium something, all right? and it's always a chloride, okay, which has come from the chloric. What salt does sulfuric acid make? Okay, it's always a sulfate. Okay, so copper sulfate. What salt does nitric acid make? It is always a nitrate. Question number 6, right? Complete the following acid reactions. Right now, these are fantastic ones just to get in your head and learn. If you've ever got a metal and you react it with an acid, what you do is you make a salt plus hydrogen, right? And it's always confusing in the fact that it says salt there, right? But it isn't, right? So what it could be sodium reacting with hydrochloric acid, right? And what you do is you get the sodium and the chlorine combining together, and the salt then coincidentally is NaCl, right? Which is obviously common table salt, plus hydrogen being made. A metal oxide and an acid. What you do is you get salt plus water. An alkali and an acid, you get also salt plus water. If you get a metal carbonate, so there's a clue in it here, right? It's often a CO3, a carbonate. What you do is you get salt plus water plus CO2 gas being given off. Question number 8. What is oil rig? Oxidation is loss. Reduction is gain. And you know what? People always think, oh, it's all to do with oxygen, oxidation, right? But it isn't. It's all to do with electrons. So oxidation is the loss of electrons. Reduction is the gain of electrons. Panic. Positive anode. Negative is cathode. Okay, so that's for electrolysis. So if you've got electrolysis there like that, and you've got 2 electrodes going in, positive anode, negative electrode. So the negative electrode is the cathode, the positive anode is that one. When do we use electrolysis to extract metals? Okay, so we use electrolysis to extract metals when the metal is more reactive than carbon. Okay, so for example, aluminium. And if you look back at the reactivity series right at the very start, or the very first question,